This is the last video of the trip around GB, or at least the penultimate one. I will probably do kind of thoughts on the trip or reflections on the trip in a couple of weeks' time. But this one takes us from Milford Haven, where we got in the last video, across the longest trip that we're doing. And in fact, we originally this plan had us going to Padstow, but we decided against that, and we took the trip all the way down around Land's End and into Newlyn. So that was 120 miles, so basically a 24-hour journey, so an overnighter, before proceeding up the English Channel to Falmouth, Foy, Salcombe, Dartmouth, and then up to Topsham. So apart from the long journey overnight, the only perhaps slightly tricky parts were going around the tidal gate of Land's End and around the Lizard Peninsula. Apart from that, it was a fairly straightforward journey without some of the risks and the challenges elsewhere. Well, it's goodbye to Milford Haven. We've just come out of Milford Haven Marina. See another boat behind us come out with us. And we are on track now for a 24-hour journey to Penzance, crossing the outer area of the Bristol Channel. So it's 10 o'clock. We expect to be in Penzance 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Milford Haven is sunnier and less windy today than it was when we left it. We ended up some strong winds on Monday, Tuesday. Came back yesterday, Thursday, and this is Friday, the 18th of July. Well, we're 6 hours out from Milford Haven, lost sight of land, no mobile phones coverage anymore, so the tracker's probably not picking us up at the moment. Bit of a lumpy sea with the swell, not too much wind. Terry's sleeping, I'm on watch. Yeah, quite boring. Wind's, well, we've got a sail up, but wind's too far forward to sail properly, but it's giving us a bit of help. So yeah, it's going to be a long time, another 18 hours yet. But anyway, later on I guess we'll see some lights from lighthouses on the North Cornish coast that'll cheer us up. Well, rather a nice sunset after a grey afternoon. It's 9 o'clock and we're getting ready for the night. It's been slightly frustrating because it's been quite calm, which is good, but it's been a very lumpy sea, and we've had to motor all the way, and it's threatened rain, though we haven't got wet, so that's good as well. And now it looks like it's going to clear up, and that's a very pretty end to the day. So we're thinking we're going to reach Land's End probably around 5 o'clock in the morning. There goes the sun. Feels quite lonely out here compared with on the east coast, where there were so many wind farms and ships and everything else. Here there's nothing. There's about a couple of targets on my chart plotter showing there are some ships, but we can't see them. And yeah, it just feels much more empty. Haven't seen anything really. Well, we've seen dolphins again, that was good. But yeah, pretty sunset. Over here we have Pendine Lighthouse. Yeah, this is Land's End. I'm talking Land's End. Down here we have Longship's Lighthouse. Which you can't see at the moment. It's not flashing. Can't see where it's flashing because the phone's in place. There it goes. 1, 2. I'll do another 2 in a minute. Long ships at dawn. Land's End. So I should have added corner number 4. And obviously the last corner. I've been a bit remiss. We got into Newlyn, which is there, on what day did we get into New? On Saturday. Today is Tuesday. We then had 2 days of strong winds, one day of really wild winds with up to 3 metre seas, but that was forecast, and we were planning to stay 2 days. In the end we stayed for 3. Had a bit of an issue with a broken impeller, which caused engine to be running a bit hot. That's now fixed, we think, looking good. And we have just left Newlyn on Tuesday the 22nd of July, heading for Milford Marina in Falmouth Harbour. We're going to have a following wind, which is very nice. We're just about to put sail up. We haven't sailed up yet, engine's still running, we're just testing it. And you can see, nice clear day. You can see the Lizard Peninsula straight in front of us. So we'll be going round the Lizard and up the other side into Falmouth. It's about a 6-hour journey, much more reasonable than our last one. And Terry's meeting a friend there tonight, and then tomorrow, all being well, we'll be going to Foy. So anyway, a bit more when we're sailing and the engine's off. You've got St Michael's Mount over there. Penzance, which we spent a couple of days in Penzance, and round the corner that you can't see yet, that headland is actually an island called St Clement's Isle, and just inside there is Mousehole, where I used to have some holidays with my nieces, my wife and my brother and my sister-in-law when the girls were little. Very pleasant place. We went and saw the house and had coffee and cake in Mousehole the other day, and I think that is Penley Lifeboat Station. You can see there with the red door on the front, which is now a museum following the disaster in the 80s. So anyway, yes, off to Milford Marina in Falmouth Harbour. Right, so we are sailing now, just the Genoa, because we've got the wind right behind us, or pretty much right behind us. So almost on a run. St Michael's Mount, as I said earlier on, over there. I just thought I'd update you on a couple of problems I had with the boat over the last, couple of weeks really. I mentioned a battery problem when we were on the Isle of Man. That ended up to be a very sudden failure of the starter battery. It was didn't owe me anything. It was quite old, about 8-9 years old, and it just suddenly failed. And so both the starter battery and the main domestic battery got replaced at the same time, because they were both the same age. So that's all working now. That was all good. By the time we got to, we did that work in Conwy before we left. And then about 2023, got a helicopter now. 2023, I had a leaky water pump. Raw water pump. For those who don't know how boat engines work, basically they pump seawater. Instead of air coming through a radiator, you get seawater pumped through a heat exchanger to take the heat away from the engine, and then that gets injected, that gets pushed out the back of a boat. So if you ever see a boat, you'll see water coming out the exhaust. That's because that cooling water is coming out the exhaust. Anyway, I had a problem with a leaky water pump about 2 years ago, and in the end I gave up and bought a new one at nearly £400 and fitted it, and it was fine. But after 18 months I replaced it. There's a rubber impeller inside. I replaced the rubber impeller and it had lost a blade, which was a bit surprising. I don't normally see that. Anyway, replaced it. I retrieved the blade out the system and threw it away, and then the boat ran fine all the way round to I think it was about Conwy, and now we're slopping around because the boat's gone past fast. I don't know. And the engine was running a bit warmer than normal, I noticed, so we slowed down and we managed to get to wherever we were going, and I can't remember where we were going now. I think it was into Milford Haven, and I inspected the various bits and then inspected the impeller, and 2 blades had come off the replacement impeller. So I had 2 spares on board, so I put a spare in, and then we set off to come to Newlyn the other day, the overnight passage, and about halfway through we noticed the engine was running a little bit warmer again. We slowed down a bit. Anyway, it ran all the way to Newlyn okay, and when I had a look. Again, a blade had broken off, so it's all a bit of a mystery. So anyway, we've put another impeller in. I've made a slight change to the way they were fitted. I'm hoping that's solved the problem. We've retrieved all the bits that broke off from inside. Other than that, Full Circle has behaved extremely well on this trip, but those two little problems, hopefully that's all we're going to get now, because we haven't got far to go now before I'm back in Topsham. This is us rounding Lizard. That's the Lizard Lighthouse there, the rocks at the end of Lizard Point. And we're now heading north again up into, well, the short of the bay is, up towards Falmouth. Been sailing with a Genoa. The wind's dropped right off now and it's right behind us. So we're kind of motor sailing at the moment. Coming into Falmouth, St Mawes. We're getting a bit of a rain squall at the moment, so we're motoring along, doing about 6.7 knots. Castle Point over there. We're heading, Falmouth is just behind Terry, but we're actually heading up to Mylor Marina today. Terry's got a friend that lives there and he's going out for a meal with her tonight, and so we are making our way a couple of miles further up. Never been there before. I'm hoping I'm not going to get wet, but it's looking like I might. We are in Mylor Marina. Came here because Terry's got a friend who he's gone to see and have dinner with tonight. And I'm here, and it's in Falmouth Harbour. And it's at times like this, it's a very nice marina. I'm not criticising the marina, however, you can't help but feel guilty having a boat when you see the beautiful scenery around Falmouth Harbour marred by what is essentially a multi-storey boat park. Such a shame, really. But as a marina itself, you can't criticise it. It's very comfortable, it's very pleasant, and lovely surroundings. But there's many places in the country now that have been taken over by these piles of plastic boats. Terrible. There you go. But I've got one, so can't really complain. Just leaving Falmouth for Foy. This is St Anthony Head Lighthouse on the eastern side of the Fal estuary entrance. So we're sailing along, close reach I should think. Bit different down here than in Scotland, definitely. Boat over there, so fishing boat there. Not that there's anything behind us, yeah, some boats over behind us, but not stupidly busy, not Solent busy. Absolutely flat sea, wind of about 7 to 10 knots, beam reach now. We're doing 3 knots through the water, which is very pleasant. I'm going to start singing in a minute, but not on camera. Need to start practicing my songs before I get back to choir. We arrived in Foy, very pretty. On a visitor mooring. It was a bit of a sporty entry, with winds gusting over 20 knots, but we sailed all the way from, where did we leave this morning? From Mylor in Falmouth to Foy, so that was very pleasant. Looks like we'll get a repeat performance tomorrow, I think, when we are going to Yelm River. It's all nearly over, which is kind of disappointing in some ways, although I am ready to go home. I can't deny that with only 1, 2, 3 more sails to do before I'm more up Full Circle on her own mooring, where she is likely to stay for the rest of the season, to be honest, because I've got so much else on. I may get 1 more sail before she comes out the water, but I can't complain. I haven't had enough sailing this year. But anyway, Foy, very pretty. We're going to go ashore later. Terry can have a drink tonight. He's been on tablets, not allowed to drink, but tonight he is released. So we're going to go and have a beer in Foy later on, and maybe some fish and chips. Old Ruin opposite Foy. We've just left the mooring and we're now off out and heading either for Yelm River or Salcombe, depending on what the mood takes us when we get to Yelm River. If we're sailing really well and we're early, we might continue on to Salcombe. If not, Yelm River is the place we originally planned to stop. Very nice place indeed, but might be a bit busy this time of year. And then round on the other side, there's Foy. Very pretty. Went and had a lovely drink. Went into the Gallant Yacht Club. And oh, there's a Royal Foy Yacht Club there as well, look. Anyway, we went to the Gallant Yacht Club and watched the racing last night. A couple of pints of Bath Gem. There we go. As a Bathonian myself, very good beer, though unexpected in Cornwall. And so we're going to go off and make our way to Yelm River, which is about a 4 to 5 hour trip. It'll be more like 7 if we go on to Salcombe. We are sailing in the sunshine again. Terry has the lucky charm, I think, because we've done more. I think he's done more sailing with me than anyone else. So sorry to everybody else that came with me, but yeah, we're sailing with a following wind, or at least a beam reach to following wind. Beam reach at the moment, but it goes back to a training run from time to time. A bit variable in terms of speed. Sometimes it's a gusting, but it's a good sailing wind. Yeah, and he's looking very pretty, and the sun's out. So we've set a course now for Salcombe in the hope that this wind continues, and we'll see. If not, we'll divert to Yelm River. That's Plymouth. So I think I can now say that I am back in Devon, the county where I started this trip on the 10th of April. 2 more sails after today. We're heading for Salcombe now. I think we'll go all the way to Salcombe. The wind has dropped, unfortunately, so we've just had to start the engine. But hopefully we've left the mainsail up, hoping for the wind to come back again. But we've had a nice sail up to now. And yeah, so it's not worth going all the way into Yelm. I don't think. We're only kind of, say, 3 hours from Salcombe now, and that'll make tomorrow quite a short, pleasant sail into Dartmouth. And then on Saturday, late afternoon, we will make the journey from Dartmouth to Topsham, and that will be it, all over. I'm almost in tears. Leaving Padstow 7:30 on Friday morning, Friday the 25th of July. Off for our penultimate stop in Dartmouth, only 16 miles away. Left a bit early because we need to get the tide around start point. Falmouth is a very pretty place, unfortunately extremely crowded in the summer and quite noisy. Lots of parties last night, singing and dancing and all that. Not that we were at any of them. We were in bed by 9:30. But yeah, it's a pretty place. The Salcombe Yacht Club, the red building up there, is very pleasant. We didn't go up there this time, but last time we went up, nice bar, showers, great view as you can see. The other side of the harbour is much more rural. So yeah, anyway, off the Bolt Head, you can see on the end there the big hill, which is quite a big headland. You get nasty kind of tide rips there when it's windy, not today. And there's a bar just inside, so it can be dangerous to come into Salcombe when you've got a strong onshore wind, particularly near low tide, with seas breaking right across. But it was calm yesterday, it's calm today. Whether we'll get any sailing done remains to be seen. And here is Start Point. This is my last major headland of the trip. We've got about 2 knots of tide round it. The bottom of Start Bay, depending on how you look at it, and Slapton Sands and Dartmouth at the other end of the bay. Interesting fact here, I had a holiday in Slapton Sands when I was 16 years old, with my last holiday I had with my parents, I think, apart from when we were growing up and had the kids with us. And when I got back from that holiday, there was a letter waiting from me telling me that I had an apprenticeship with the MOD. I was quite pleased. My dad was delighted because he thought I was going to be kind of hanging on to his purse strings for quite a while. which I probably did. But anyway, yes. So this is start point quite early. Well, not that early. 8:30 now, and we're just about going to get round before the tide turns. So onwards to Dartmouth. This is the view now. Still start point on the left, looking down into Start Bay, Slapton Sands, Tor Cross there, the little village, Sherman Tank on the beach there, and then the other end goes to a little town or a little village called Street with an E on the end, and then Dartmouth. Coming into Dartmouth. Right. Coming into Dartmouth on a lovely sunny day. One of my more favourite places to come into, Dartmouth. And of course you can go a long way up the river, Topsham, right the way up to Top Nests. There's a couple of creeks you can go up and find pubs and things like Bow Creek and the Monsters Arms. So yeah, very nice place, Dartmouth. Gets a bit busy in the summer, as you can imagine, but still, we're coming in early today. It's only 11:15, so hopefully we'll be able to pick up a berth. I'm waiting to see whether the Royal Naval College will come into view in a minute round the corner, or whether I do a second. No, it's just about to appear. Just see it over the rooftops there. There we go. Royal Britannia Naval College, Dartmouth, where all the officers come to do their training. Royal Naval officers, obviously. HMS Britannia, I think. Posh place. We used to go to what's the place in London? Where's the Meridian? Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. How ridiculous. Greenwich College. Sorry, but yeah, that's Dartmouth. So anyway, this is Dartmouth, and this is the last day of my trip around Great Britain. Kingswear over there. We are leaving at about 11 o'clock today for Topsham, and that will be it, and back home tomorrow. Am I upset? Not really. Yeah, it's slightly sad because there was a lot of planning went into it, a lot of thinking's gone into it over the last 18 months. But from beginning of April to the end of July, nearly every day, getting up and deciding what to do and looking at the weather forecast, it'll be nice to do something different. Nevertheless, it's been quite an adventure, and she'll always remember it. Well, last day sailing, weather doesn't look like it's going to be too kind. We're just coming out of Dartmouth, the Great Mewstone here outside Dartmouth Harbour, and that looks pretty black. So I'm hoping it's blowing away from us.
Bring me sunshine in your smile, bring me laughter all the while. In this world where we live, there should be more happiness, so much joy you can give. In this brand new bright tomorrow, make me happy through the years. Never bring me any tears. Let your arms be as warm as the sun from up above. Bring me fun, bring me sunshine, bring me love.
Definitely back in home waters, Tor Bay, Paynton, Torquay and Brixham. And then over here is Teignmouth. Front is Exmouth. Last saw on the 10th of May. the audio of this bit was destroyed by wind noise. This is us approaching Exmouth. A good wind. The last 2 hours of the journey after the earlier rain was a good sail up to the ex-estuary buoy, close hauled, and going in a fair old lick. We were timing our arrival for the change, well, for about an hour and a half, 2 hours after low water. There's a bar at Exmouth that we needed to get across.
So, a breezy entry, but we are now in the River Exe, or the Exmouth estuary. This is Star Cross on my left hand side, with the mainland train that goes from London to Penzance. And we're heading right up to the top of the estuary where Topsham is. Exmouth is over there. I've just come in through there. So we arrived back at Topsham. It is very shallow at the moment. We are creeping up the channel, mud everywhere. But there is Topsham. And this is Topsham Quay, where we started our adventure on the 10th of April. Terry and I, where Full Circle was in the winter and launched from. So there you go. Nearly 1,900 miles. And on the 27th of June, we're back in Topsham. Lovely place, very happy to be back in Topsham. Probably one of my favourite places that I've visited all the way round. So I'm going to go to the pub now and have several beers before I go home tomorrow.
That's it, all done. Topsham, all the way round via Orkney and back to Topsham. And Full Circle sitting out there on the visitor mooring, waiting to go up on her own mooring in the morning. That is the whole of the trip. That'll be the end of the videos for the trip. However, I am intending just one more video that will just cover my reflections on the whole journey, but I'll leave that for a couple of weeks to allow it to soak into my own brain. Thank you very much for watching these videos. It's been important to me to see that they are being watched after having taken the effort to make them, so that's great. I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you.